No. I don't agree. I don't agree. I mean, it's starting to get cooler at night, but not really. I mean, upper 50s. That is not getting cool at night when it's in the upper 50s. All right, that's just not. What is it supposed to be today? 90? Throw it up there. 90, 89, 90. All right. Upper 80s, upper 90s for the next couple of days. You know, and it's just not us, okay? There's about 2 million people under an extreme heat risk. It's all over the western United States. We're just like getting the edge of it, sort of. For them, there's no end in sight. There is, but not today. Who's they? Washington, Oregon, Idaho, parts of Idaho, California, Nevada, of course, Arizona. Did you see they're all roasted? Did you see roasted? And speaking, Tucson. Tucson was 108 yesterday. I mean, boom, boom, boom. Hot child summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirt and gritty. Been down, isn't it a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. It's hotter than a match head. Boom, boom, yeah, hotter than a match head. That's pretty hot. 102 in Portland. Yeah, they're all right there. Right here in Great Falls, Andy, last week, right here in Great Falls. Yes, sir, it was 100 degrees Tuesday. Wednesday at 99 last week. We broke a record. Record-breaking heat. Just to think, Andy, just in a couple of short months here, into August, couple of months here, we'll be complaining about 10 below zero, shoveling snow. It's not possible in November. Don't tell me, 90 days at least. Yeah. We'll go from complaining about the heat to complaining about the cold. Good times coming, huh? All right, before we get any further this morning, please remember to give this podcast a like. It's right over here down below the screen on the left. It's the thumbs up, thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up. Feed our egos here at the studio. Yeah, more thumbs up. All right, we got thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. And over here, down here, it's over here on the right. There's a little oblong button that's hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified of any and all new content. We have different types of content coming up besides the podcast. And you'll have a chance to win some fabulous prizes all across the board. Okay? Where's my prop? Right here. And this morning's podcast is brought to you in part each and every Monday morning by our good friends down at the Great Falls Gazette. It is a locally owned, locally operated, and it's all the local news that's fit to print. It's available every Tuesday, Thursday, and this is yesterday's deluxe edition. Pick up your copy today. Hey, Andy Wright, what's on the cover here? Ghostbusters, some sentencing. We're not on the cover again. What am I going to do if I ever am on the cover? I'm going to hit it. I'm going to buy 5 copies for my mother. Hey, going to see my smiling face on the cover of the Great Falls Gazette. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that bit never gets old, does it? It does. It is getting old. All right. Again, though, how long did it take Dr. Hook to make the cover of the Rolling Stone? I mean, really. I mean, we'll probably make here in the back on Crimestoppers, America's Most Wanted by the only way we're going to be is we're going to be most wanted by the IceT and the Special Victims Unit. Wanted for a morally offensive podcast. Yeah, oh well. Well, it's a living. All right, on Crimestoppers, America's, what do we got back here? Anyway, we got Angela over here again. They're still looking for Angela over here. Got the pose going, and what the heck? We got a clean sweep on the bottom row. Arrested. Great job, Great Falls Police Department. Remember, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. All right, thanks, Great Falls Gazette. Pick up your copy today. All right. Good morning. It is Monday, August 25th. Sunny. What am I looking at? I'm looking over along the wall over there where I can see the window. I can see a sliver of sunlight. Okay? A sliver. It's supposed to be a hot one today. 80s. Stay hydrated. All right. August 25th. What do we got going on here? It is Rob Halford. All right, Rob Halford. It's his 74th birthday. Happy birthday, Rod Halford. Who's Rod Halford? He's a lead singer for Judas Priest. You're breaking the law, out there is a fortune waiting to be had. If you think I'll let it go, you got another thing coming. Bang, boom, 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 another thing coming. Yow, yow, yeah, bow, bow. All right, Rob Halford. Judas Priest. You know what else happened today? Before we get in, I always like to do something, but today it ran across my desk. It's just, today, August 23rd and 25th, in 1976, Boston released their first album. It was their debut, self-titled, More Than a Feeling. Yeah, it was, despite being recorded, mostly recorded in Tom Schultz's basement studio, it became one of the best debut albums ever. I mean, everybody had the Boston's first one. Yeah, they were just another band out of Boston on the road trying to make ends meet. All right. All right. Man, I was getting carried away there, Andy. All right, this weekend marked. Basically, we're done. We're done with preseason for the NFL. Okay, no more preseason. They're getting ready to play. Next week's Labor Day weekend. Okay, so they're getting ready to play. And in college football, it was what they like to call as, week 0. Okay? And that's in the NCAA. NFL, we had last week of preseason. NCAA, we got week 0. Week 0 is not the official week 1, of course, but there are games played. There was the Hawaii-Stanford game. Yeah. It's that time. It's that time again of the year, Andy. I can't believe how years went by. It's week 0. Every year this week we try to do our fall football forecast extravaganza. I mean, we try to, okay? Sometimes we fail, sometimes we don't, okay? What year? We're third one. Third time. Third time's a charm, okay? Pay attention to all my predictions. Third time, week 0. There was, 6 games? Like I said, Stanford High. Big one was Iowa State and Kansas State. They were kicking things off with a game up in old Dublin, Ireland. They were in Ireland playing a little football. So what? We got next 17 weeks now in a row. We have football in one way or another. One way or another. We've got some football. We've got the football. Yeah, kicking off football. All right. So, it is our fall football forecast. Okay, and before we get in to all of the football festivities that we get into, I want to address the elephant that is in the room. As a Michigan homer, you all know, the Michigan sign stealing scandal. We even have a video up. I was involved with the sign stealing scandal. I was caught videoing, taking pictures. That video's up on my Facebook or on my YouTube page. It all actually started with Jim Harbaugh, basically with Jim Harbaugh coming back to the NCAA. Okay, that's when it really started, because Jim has always wanted pay for play, which is now we have the NIL. Was always an advocate of revenue sharing as far as video games went. He wanted helmet microphones. So yeah, he wanted all of that. Okay, and he's the NCAA's never liked Jim Harbaugh or liked his ideas. And the feelings always been mutual, all right? It's always been mutual. He's a good coach. He was good at Stanford. He went to the pros. He was good at the pros. Now he's back at Michigan, and they're like, oh, no. Oh, no, I thought we were rid of him. So, first of all, according to... All right. Sign stealing is not illegal, and there is no specific rule banning scouting in the NFL, in the NCAA, in high school. Okay, everybody does it. Everybody. They say, we were stealing signs when I was back in high school. Remember the movie We Are Marshall? Okay, we had Matthew McConaughey, and there's a scene in that movie. And Matthew McConaughey's trying to build Marshall back, and his character meets with, I believe, they were playing something to do with the West Virginia, and Bobby Bowden was playing a coach. And in order to help Marshall rebuild, become competitive again, and it was, it's a tragic story. We could do a podcast on the whole We Are Marshall. But in the scene, they're talking about game films and learning the signs. And it was in a movie. Okay? So movies were talking about it. You all know what it is. It's when you look over in the sideline and there's three guys holding up signs. And one's like, here's a cheeseburger, and here's a picture of Marilyn Monroe, and here's a dog barking, and here's the number 7. They all got these, and the other guy's like got his, he had his sign upside down, so the Marilyn Monroe sign is upside down. So the quarterback's out there thinking of the signs like, what the hell? We never practiced the upside down. And whoever stole your signs, it's common practice. So people are saying Michigan's national championship was tainted. The 2000 year they played 2000 a year. And because they had an advantage. Nothing could be further from the truth. They had a disadvantage that year. Okay? The Connor Stalions scandal broke about the same time that the NCAA was threatening Harbaugh with suspension over the cheeseburger scandal. Okay, that was what, Andy? That was what, by game 3? So by game 3, Harbaugh was already on the hot seat for the cheeseburger scandal. We're going to suspend you. The cheeseburger scandal. During the pandemic, Jim met a family and took them out to McDonald's and bought cheeseburgers. That's a violation of NCAA rules. That's an illegal gift. No cheeseburgers. No cheeseburger, chip. No cheeseburgers for you. Okay? So when that scandal broke by game 3, all of a sudden the Connor Stalions wasn't until 2000, the year before, the year that we lost to SMU. Okay, so Michigan was then on the hot seat by game 3. Connor was already busted. Jim was on the hot seat for the cheeseburger scandal, and now the Connor Stallions scandal, and everybody was like, now we're the bad guys. Okay, Michigan's the bad guys. So Jim finally got suspended. Our last 3 games were against Maryland, Penn State, and Ohio State. No Harbaugh. No Stein stealing. They beat them all. All 3. Yeah, it was basically with Harbaugh was on the side, not on the sidelines for 3 games. Their toughest stretch was it 3 or 4? There's 3 games. Okay, Maryland, right? Am I right? Right. Maryland, Penn State, Ohio State, in that order. Last 2 games of the year, Penn State, Ohio State. No head coach. Yeah. Okay. No tainted title there. It was basically Harbaugh, Michigan against everybody else that year, including the NCAA. But being from Detroit, I'm no stranger to that. Being the bad guys, right? How about the Detroit Red Wings, Andy? I gotta bring this up. It's like, Michigan's traitors, they're the bad guys. Yeah, well, I heard it all with the Detroit Red Wings and the Russian 5. 5 Konstantinov, Fedorov, 5 players from the Russian army defected from Russia. Back then, we were at war with right, and they went to play to the Red Wings. We were hated by the NHL. Every fan in hockey hated us. Did I care? Heck no. 4 Stanley Cups later. Yeah. And what about the bad boys? The bad boys. Everybody hated the bad boy Detroit Pistons, 89-90, back-to-back world champions. NBA beat up Larry Bird, beat up Magic Johnson, beat up Michael Jordan, just beat up people. Everybody, boo, hate them. I'm like, all right, man, Bill Laimbeer. Most hated people. So, it's like it or not, man. Okay, there's no asterisks about Michigan's championship. Don't like us? Don't like it? Beat them, all right? Well, if you're Ohio State, you haven't won 4 years. We beat Ohio State last year with our third string quarterback that had cancer. Okay? Urban Meyer comes out, of all people, Urban Meyer comes out to speak against, Jim Harbaugh, Hey, NFL ought to suspend them. NFL would be like working at Walmart, getting fired at Walmart, going to work at Circle K, and then Walmart saying then some guy at Walmart saying you should suspend the guy at Circle K because, yeah. So, the NFL is not going to spend, So, yeah, speaking of the NFL, let's get on with all of our predictions for the year. You got number 1 Texas and number 3 Ohio State this weekend. A good indicator of who's who and what's going to happen here in college football. As literally it's who's who, again, with the Big Ten and the SEC, as usual. You got Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, Alabama, all LSU, all from the Big Ten SEC. Throw in Notre Dame, Clemson, and you've got preseason top 10. Joe Franklin's just loaded at Penn State. Everybody stayed for a national championship or a shot of the national championship. When just kids decide to come back, like the 2003 team in Michigan, J.J. McCormick, everybody came back. Good things happen. Penn State, man, I basically, you're going to have Archie Manning and Joe Franklin's Nittany Lions, Longhorns playing for the national championship. As far as the FCS, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana are all in the hunt this year. You lose touchdown Tommy. I expect the Cats to let down a little bit this year. You can't rebound from a loss like that. I like North Dakota State. I like South Dakota State. Illinois State is the dark horse. I like North Dakota State again. So we got NCAA. I got Texas and Penn State. I got toss up. Here I got South Dakota State, North Dakota State. I like the Bison. Okay. NFL. Start with the AFC. Okay? AFC East. I got Buffalo. Okay? That's all I got making that. Yeah. Buffalo. The AFC North, I got Baltimore winning the division. Pittsburgh. The Bengals. I like the Bengals every year, but Joe Burrows is just disappoints me. He's always hurt. Always this, always that. But I do like Baltimore Ravens a lot in the AFC altogether, as you'll see. In the AFC South, I like Houston. I like Denver. I like Houston. In the West, I like Denver and Kansas City. I think Denver's going to be a better team this year than Kansas City is. I just do. You know, I don't think that Kansas City is the shoe-in that we always talk about. You know, I mean, like I said, back in college, I just named the same teams in college. But in pro, it's like different. You know, Kansas City's been there a while. I just don't think. I think Denver takes the AFC West. I really do. You know. NFC. All right. NFC. Let's start with. How about the East? Okay, let's start with the East. I like Philly wins the division. I like Philly again. I like Washington. Yeah, I like both of those. In the NFC North division, everybody's saying it's a toss-up between the Packers and the Lions, and I don't see it like that. Of course, I wouldn't see like that because I'm a Michigan, Lions homer. But I think Detroit wins the division, and I think Packers are close behind. Okay, we split with them this year. NFC South, I like Tampa. NFC, that would leave the West, right? Okay, West. Niners, Rams, yeah, maybe. You thinking Rams are vying there for that? Yeah. So, playoffs shake out. Bills don't make it again. Kansas City doesn't knock them off. Denver knocks them off this time. And in the NFC, Philly doesn't make it again. Washington knocks them off. Detroit gets revenge on Washington. And then I've got a Baltimore Ravens, Detroit Super Bowl, with Detroit winning in their first Super Bowl title because the odds are pretty good on that. And I'm a Detroit homer anyway. So, plus they've got the best running back duo. Golf is what? A number 8 rated quarterback in the NFL? 7? Okay. Defense is rated in the top 5. Offense is rated in the top 5. Intangibles. Yeah, so I got Super Bowl, Baltimore, Detroit winning it all. What you wanted? I already said Texas, Penn State in the NCAA championship. Right. After the playoffs, I just said it's a toss-up. Okay. Penn State. All right. I'll take Penn State over Texas in the national championship because they're a Big Ten team. I got Detroit over Baltimore in the Super Bowl. What else is there? High school? Montana AA? Well, I don't have to pull anything up. I already know. Hell in the Capitol. What, they were like, absolutely. I'll go Hell in the Capitol to win it all. So, yeah, we got. It'll be interesting because your NCAA playoffs is going to end up being, like I said, you got 12 teams, and it's going to be out of those 12 teams, you're going to have 10 of those teams are going to be coming from the ACC or the Big Ten. Okay? And you're going to have 2 people. You're going to have Clemson from the ACC, and you're going to have an independent Notre Dame. Notre Dame looks pretty good. They don't look good enough to win it all this year, I do not think. No, Penn State, I'm telling you, they are loaded. I'm telling you. So if you're going to go out and bet before the season, Okay? Take Penn State over Texas. Take Detroit over Baltimore. Hell in the Capitol. Got North Dakota State in the FCS of North Dakota State over South Dakota State. Montana can't come repeat playoff run like they had because they lost Tommy. Okay? Grizz, I don't think I just don't like what I see yet. So, that was your forecast, Andy. Well, how'd I do? What do you know? We did pretty good, I think. We got everybody in a row. Okay, this weekend, coming up Thursday, we got games, college games. Thursday, yep. And then Saturday, we got college games again. Big game, Ohio State, Texas. Yeah, they'll be, I think, in the morning on ABC, local channels. So, let's go. Get ready, man. Let's get ready. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and the best. Do I have to make them the playoffs? Michigan? 12-team playoff? Maybe. All right. How are we doing on time? We are out of time already? Wow, that time flies when you're having a good time. All right. Remember, everybody, spay and neuter. Adopt, don't shop. Foster, rescue, volunteer, donate. Hey, adopt a shelter pet today. Until next Monday, we are out of here.